Why hello there everyone and welcome back. I'm your host today, Mr. Mobile, and today I've got a special little video for you. Today is another tutorial video, yes, but it is the final Among Us tutorial video that I will be bringing out. That's because, guys, this is an official working voting system. Maybe it's not official, I don't know if it's official, but I made it today. I made it up completely all by myself this time too. So this is my own design and no one else's design. Do you understand that, fake account? Hello little default. Yes guys, I've got my default account here just so to show you that it works with more than one person, because that was the problem with my other one. It only worked with one person. So this time I figured out a way to do it with even more than one person. So before the old voting system, you didn't all teleport in even if you placed multiple teleporters down. Well, I fixed that problem with this sneaky little thing, and I also came up with my own type of voting system, and you'll see that in a minute. So it's my own type of voting thing, no pistols, no clicking buttons or anything like that. No, I've came up with a brand new way of doing it. So you spawn in. They have spawned in there and I've spawned in here. Now this hasn't got imposter or anything linked up to it, but here is the meeting button. As you can see, I've got mini guns. They will have medium weapons or medium ammo even, just to kind of show you how it's done. So we'll click the meeting button. We've only got 15 seconds. Basically this here is the skip button. You would spawn in this tube, and then here's player number 1, which is them, and player number 2, which is me, and we can actually see each other's skins. Now if I were to walk into the button, then it would spawn me into this little chamber, and then if they were to come over, they would spawn into the chamber too. I voted for myself. They spawned then outside, and I spawned in the kill area. Now as you can see, the little default is over here. Say hello, little default. Hello. Do we jump? That's it. We jump and we crouch there. Default. Okay. Now you're probably thinking, does this work a second time, or is it just like a one-time use kind of voting system? Well, let's go ahead and call another meeting. We'll both spawn in the room. Both of us. There we are. There's the wee default. How you doing, default? Let's go ahead and vote for the default here. We don't want them in the game anymore. I wonder what they'll vote for. Oh, they voted for skip. Look, see this, so they're in the skip one up there, and I'm in this one here. But because skip was overly chosen, then it won. So unfortunately, the one problem with this one, and yes, they also spawned here too. The only problem with this one is, guys, that there isn't like a tie system. So whatever one was voted most closest, then that's who gets voted out, or else it's a skip. So let's go ahead and now show you how to make this voting system. Okay guys, so what you just seen there was an older recording, because I've had to record this about 3 times, because I don't know if you really noticed or not in that previous recording, but half the screen was cut off. Yeah, I know, right? You wouldn't have noticed. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started into this. So these are the props you're going to need. You're going to need a player reference device. You're going to need a billboard. You're going to need a HUD message device, a timed objective, a class selector, a class designer. Is that? Yep. A button, a trigger, mutator zone, sequencer, damage volume trap, teleporters, and player spawn pads. And there might be some that I missed there, and we will look over them when we come across them in the video. So first of all, you get your player spawn pads out. In those, make sure to set the channels. So this one's channel 1, this one's channel 2, and this one is channel 3. And that's because when you spawn on these, you're going to be given a class. Now these are the class selectors and the class designers. So the designers, this one's designer 1, this one's designer 2, and this one's designer 3. Then we go to the class selector, we look at it. Class to switch to 1 and change player when receiving from channel 1. So when a player spawns on this spawner, they will become part of class 1. Now this doesn't change their team, so you could have team 1 and team 2. Team 2 is an imposter. An imposter could spawn here and still be on class 3, and they will still be the imposter in team 2. So that there is that. Then over here it's class 2, channel 2, class 3, channel 3. And guys, by the way, I'm going to be going through this quickly, so if you need to pause any through the video, go ahead, that's fine, I don't mind. I will happily wait patiently for you to resume the video again. But anyway, let's get back to it. So now we know how to get each player into a class. Now we're going to have to do the button, and the button will be what makes the players spawn into the voting room. So let's go ahead and look at it. So the button here has got an interaction time of 1 second. That you can change to anything. You could change it to 1,000,000 seconds or whatever. I've got it 1 second for the video reset delay. Change this to whatever time you want. Basically, if I set this to 2 minutes and the voting round was 1 minute, and when players go back into the game, they'll have to wait 1 minute until they can vote for the button again, or another meeting or whatever. But I'm going to have it for 3 seconds just so I can quickly get into other meetings. Interaction text, that there is then what it's going to show when the player is looking at the button. Interaction radius, that is the sphere, so if a player's looking not at the button but rather in the sphere, they can still click the button. When interacted with, transmit on channel 19. That's the button done. Now we're going to go over here to these triggers. Get the triggers out, guys, and you know, you can make them invisible, you can make them silent, whatever, but this is what I changed. Delay 2 seconds, trigger when receiving from 19, which is the button, and when triggered, transmitted on 20. Now these 2 seconds, guys, make sure you have these 2 seconds or your map will break. Do you understand that, soldier? Good. Now, if you do have this at 3 seconds, that's perfectly fine. It might even be a wee safety measure. I have it 2 seconds, and I'm not sure how close I am actually breaking it at that. So maybe put it at 3 seconds just to be on the safe side. But it works fine with 2 seconds. Anyway, this next trigger, 1 second delay on these guys. Make sure you've got 1 second delay on these guys, because once again it can break. And guys, I'm being serious here. You need to like copy these exactly, because there might be a wee small chance that it doesn't work. So just make sure you're following along real close. Anyway, enable when receiving from 17, disable when receiving from channel 6, trigger when receiving from 20, and when triggered, transmit on 21. So when this trigger is set off, then this trigger will activate. Now this one has another 1 second delay, but it's enabled when receiving from channel 27 rather than 17. Disable when receiving from channel 6, trigger when receiving from channel 21, and when triggered, transmit on channel 20. So what this does is that these two just keep flicking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They're fighting it out to see who will win, but we obviously know there's no winner except for me. So subscribe, guys, if you want more content like this. I suppose we're almost at 1,000 subscribers, so be part of the under 1k sub club. Let's get back into it. So this here other trigger up here is another 1 second delay, and enable when receiving from channel 17, disable when receiving from channel 6, trigger when receiving from channel 6, and when triggered, transmit on 21. So you've actually got two 21s there. I don't know what these two are for, but I got rid of them and did fixes and stuff to them, and it broke the map completely. So once again, I would say just make sure you copy it pretty much exactly. Now the mutator zone here, this mutator zone, make sure it covers the entire map players are playing in, because you don't want one little corner, let's say over here where there is none. If someone's here, they won't get teleported into the voting room, and that's not good. So make sure that you've got it covering your entire map. And you can place several down as well, it won't make any difference. Anyway, allow weapon fire, make sure this is on so it doesn't break anyone's game, so it could maybe break the imposter's game so they can't actually kill anyone, so make sure this is on yes. Zone width 5 and height 5, this is just the size of my map at the minute, but make sure you put this to the size of your map. Enable the game start, no. Enable when receiving from channel 20. Disable when receiving from channel 21. On player entering and on player leaving are both set onto channel 4. So when those two triggers are fighting out, this is actually turning on and off, over and over and over again, and it gets really repetitive. So now we have got the stuff inside the voting room, and these are the teleporters that are set up to channel 4. So the teleporter group and teleporter target group are both set to none, because you don't want people to be walking through one and teleporting at another one when they're both at A or whatever. Effects class only selected, make sure this is on only selected, and selected class is 1. Teleport to and receiving from channel 4. Now let's go to the next one. It's the exact same except selected class is 2. Same with the next one except it's selected class channel 3. Or selected class is 3, not channel class 3. So that's that set up. Now outside, once again, we've got the timed objective. It's set to 1 minute. You can put this whatever you want, but I'm putting it at 1 minute voting time. Now I'm actually going to go ahead and put this down to about 15 seconds so we can get this done a wee bit quicker. Timer label, put it to voting. That is just so it brings up on the player's screen that they're now voting for something. Now make sure this completion behavior is on reset. If it's on restart, it will continuously do more and more votes over and over and over again, and there'll be no way of stopping it. So that's not very good. Then disable, you can only do one meeting with disable. So we're going to put it on to reset so we can have infinite meetings, I guess. Audio effects, you can turn those on, you can turn those off. Same with the triggers and everything else that's in this map. Start when receiving from channel 4, so as soon as the first person teleports into the voting room, this here goes off. When completed, to transmit on channel 5. Channel 5 is then set to this here sequencer, and it's got infinite loop. The tempo is at 140. You can tweak around with the tempo. I've just got it at 140 because if you put it too fast, it can like skip certain votes, etc, etc. Length normal. This is so it makes it the size of a tile. Start when receiving from channel 5, which is when the counter ends, and stop when receiving from channel 6. Now you've got these here triggers in here, and these are actually set up to the voting, which I will show you later. So this one here is transmit every 4 triggers that the other one takes. Now if your map takes 16 people, change this to 16, or even 17, change it to 17. So if you have say 12 people, make this 13. If you have 14 people, make this 15. If you have 112 people, make it 113, even though you can't go that high. Or can you? No, you can't go that high, so that's fine. Reset times triggered when receiving from channel 4. So when you are brought into the voting room, it will reset the amount of times it was triggered before, so you don't get some crazy thing going on there. Trigger when receiving from channel 8, and when triggered, transmit on channel 7. This one here is the exact same up here, except it's trigger when receiving from channel 10, and when triggered, transmit on channel 9. But this one is trigger when receiving from channel 12, when triggered, transmit on channel 11. This one is trigger when receiving from channel 14, when triggered, transmit on channel 13. And lastly, trigger when receiving from channel 16, and when triggered, transmit on channel 15. So that there is how the voting kind of works there, but then we've got all this to stop it from voting over and over again. So the HUD message device is pretty simple. The first one here is skipped and shows channels from channel 7. Now guys, before I continue, make sure the first trigger is skipped. Do not make it like player 1 or something, make sure it is skipped. Anyway, let's go ahead on to the next one. It's player 1 but channel 9, player 2 channel 11, player 3 channel 13, player 4 channel 15, and make sure the time from round start is off for all of these. Then these triggers over here, trigger when receiving from channel 7, when triggered, transmit on channel 6. Channel 9, trigger when receiving from channel 9, it transmits on channel 6. Trigger when receiving from channel 11, trigger when receiving from channel 13, and trigger when receiving from channel 15, they all enable channel 6. Back into the voting room. We have got these buttons down here, and yes, they have got actual buttons underneath them. I've only got the triggers like visible so I can show you that they activate and where they're placed and all of that. So this here is the skip room, and of course these are all the player like test tube rooms. So when skip, it is triggered by damage and triggered by item. You could turn these on, you can turn these off. I would probably just put it on trigger by player. When triggered, transmit on channel 8, so that will actually trigger this one once. Then when a person actually touches that, they will get teleported to this teleporter, which has got all these effects class any, and teleport to and receiving from channel 8. So if I were to walk up to this, I can't show it right now, but if I were to walk up to it, it would then activate this trigger or this teleporter, and I would teleport in this room and couldn't escape. Now let's go ahead to the actual players here. We've got the billboard here saying 1. You can change this to green or whatever, but I've got it at 1, 2, 3, and 4. The trigger down here, it's basically the same except it's channel 10. The one over here is channel 12. One over here is then channel 14. And then the teleporters behind these guys in the little rooms is channel 10, channel 12, channel 14. And I guess I have one here too. That one's channel 16. Let me guess. Yep, this one's channel 16. Now the player reference device is actually set up so it activates when a person spawns in the teleporters. No, not the teleporters, the spawn pads. So this one here is registered player when receiving from channel 1. So when a person spawns here, it activates this and it will show that person's skin. I don't know if it shows backlinks. No, it doesn't. I need to do that. But then if another person spawned here, it would show their skin. Another person would spawn here, it would show their skin. So you can actually see the person you're voting for, and then you would walk up and vote for them. You could even make it so it shows their name underneath, so you could see that as well. Now that that is all sorted out, we now got to make it so when a person is voted, they spawn in the kill room and everyone else gets teleported outside. This is the last part of the tutorial, guys, so make sure to like and subscribe and join the Discord link in the description. I answer some questions in there all the time. Anyway, this here is the first mutator zone. This is the mutator zone which will make someone spawn in this room. So, before we actually go over that mutator zone, I've got the wee kill zone here with the damage trap or damage tile or whatever you call it. And you can see that there's a wee bit of pixie dust looking stuff here, and that's because these are teleporters. So if I were to open the first one here, no grip obviously, enable during phases on pre-game. If I put it to gameplay, you would, well, you should be able to actually see it, but if I put it to all, now you can see it, there we go. But for this here, I'm putting it on pre-game only. You could put it onto none as well, but don't put it on gameplay only or all only, because then players will just spawn. Like all players will spawn in those there. Now here we go. Effects class only selected, which is class 1. Teleport to when receiving from channel 17. Enable when receiving from channel 9 and disable when receiving from channel 4. So when another meeting is called, it will disable this teleporter. Now this channel 9 is activated by over here. This second one here transmits on channel 9 if it's triggered enough times, which will activate that one on. Now these are all the same, except this one here is selected class 2. Enable when receiving from channel 11. This one here is then selected class 3 and enable when receiving from channel 13. Now back to this mutator zone. Allow weapon fire, yes, once again you don't want the glitch to happen, but it doesn't really matter for this one because the player's going to die anyway. So you can change it to whatever you want really. Zone width and all, just change it to the size of your voting room. Don't make it any bigger, don't make it any smaller, because it could overlap into your actual maps. Enable at game start, make sure this is on no, or else as soon as people spawn into this room, they will, well, quite frankly, die. Enable when receiving from 22, disable when receiving from 23. On player entering zone, then transmit on channel 17. Now behind here, we've got some triggers in the shape of an L. Ha 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 ha, take L, brah. Oh, I'm such a trickster, I got yous all. Tell me if I did get used by hitting the like button and stuff. Anyway, let's go ahead into this middle trigger of the L. So it is trigger receiving from channel 7 and when triggered transmit on 22. These are all really the same except this one's 9, this one's 11, and this one's 13. Those are all instead of having the 7 in the first one. Then we're going to go over to these other two over here. Can I go forwards? Thank you. This one here is 23, 1 second delay. Again, make sure you have this 1 second delay. Enable when receiving from channel 6, disable when receiving from channel 19, trigger when receiving from 22, and when triggered transmit on 23. This one here is the exact same again, but it's these two channels are like opposite each other. So 1 second delay, enable when receiving from channel 6, disable when receiving from 19, trigger when receiving from 23, and when triggered transmit on 22. And that is the voting thing for a person to fall out and die, which is a bit weird. Anyway, that is how that's all done. But now players are just stuck in these rooms, yeah? And they can't get out unless, you know, they were to hit the glass and smash out. But of course you're going to have it so people can't break walls. We need them to spawn back into the battleship, the flying house, whatever map you've got. So we need another mutator zone. So I've put it on the opposite side so I can make the same sizes and stuff, but you can put it anywhere you like. Enable at game start, and again, put this on no, or else as soon as you get into the voting room, it will put you back into the map. Enable when receiving from channel 25, disable when receiving from channel 19, and on player entering zone channel transmit on channel 24. Now another thing you're going to have to add are these 3 triggers here, and this is actually the last step except for the teleporters, which I will have to show you after this. So this first one here is trigger when receiving from channel 17, so as soon as someone's voted out, this transmits on, or whatever the way it's set up. When triggered, transmit on 25. This one here has a 1 second delay again, the last time. Well, actually second last time. Enable when receiving from channel 6, disable when receiving from channel 19, trigger when receiving from channel 26, and when triggered transmit on channel 26. Okay guys, so you're probably wondering what's going on here. And that's because you might not need these. So if your map's good enough, you won't need those. So we can kick them out of the way. Just like my voting system, you won't need these two guys. Why do you not need them? Because I've set up so you don't. Okay, good stuff. But if you do need them, basically just change this one to 25 and change this one down here to 25 and it will all be fixed. But we've got them both set at 26, so they're basically disabled. And that is the entire voting system done. We just need to go over to these teleporters. So the first one here, teleporter target group, is none. That should be none as well. How dare you change? I think I actually changed those on purpose. But you don't need them on. I was just testing with stuff. Effects, class only selected, which is selected class 1. Teleport 2 when receiving from channel 24. These are all the same except this is selected class 2. This is selected class 3. And then this one would be selected class 4. So there you go guys. There is the entire voting system done. And I didn't really show you these other ones. These other references. But yes, that one's channel 2. This one would be channel 3, and that's because they spawn on those. But anyway, that is the voting system done, guys. If you enjoyed, please use my code mobile-scrap in the item shop. It really helps me and really helps support the channel. Anyway, that is the entire voting system done. Again, I have a Discord link in the description, and we are almost at 1,000 subscribers, so be part of the under 1k sub club. Anyone that is in the Discord below 1k subs, they will be given a special role. Anyway, let's end this video here, and I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy stuff, and goodbye. I'm going to go and have an ice cream now. See ya!